Good morning, Cathedral. I'm Elena.
And I'm Jeremy with your morning announcements for Wednesday, April the 27th.
Let's start off the show with a message from Mr. Daly.
Good morning, Cathedral. Happy Wednesday, and I know, sorry, 2 days in a row for the principal. Okay, quick reminder, teachers, if you don't mind taking a peek around the room and double check the uniform, focus on footwear, and please not just period one, but all throughout the day. Teachers, we appreciate that, and students, we appreciate your following the uniform. We want to get back to Spirit Day starting next week as a reward for your good uniform behavior. Secondly, we have had some trouble, I've mentioned this once before, I'm going to mention it again, with students hanging in the hallways unsupervised after school. Now, we don't want to get to a point where we're locking the doors and say the soccer teams, once they're outside for practice, they can't come back in and fetch their stuff from their lockers. But it's something we may have to do if we can't get cooperation on this. So I want to just remind students, you're welcome to be here after school if you're involved in a specific activity that has an adult supervisor, like the weight room, like, step squad, whatever. I know the, Shakespeare group, any of the teams. But if you're not here and you're not directly involved in one of those activities, you can't be hanging in school after hours. And that's a couple of reasons. We can't have you unsupervised. We also have a night cleaning staff, and it's not, they've got enough to do in the evening, and it's not their responsibility to be supervising students. And frankly, sometimes those custodians will have to tell students to move along, clear the hall, and sometimes students, because they don't know those custodians very well, might get a little lippy with them. So we don't want any of that going on. And so I'm asking students, if you're involved in a team, when your team activity ends or your club activity ends, you get your stuff and then you exit the building as soon as you can. And you can't have 10 of your friends just hanging around until 5:30 because they're going to go with you after your practice or your group activity ends, okay? And students, I want to remind you one more thing. If you haven't noticed, and I was telling this to some students a couple weeks ago and they hadn't noticed, we have cameras in the entire building, if you ever noticed. There's like literally 64 cameras, might be more than that. They're high definition. They're throughout all the hallways. They're in front of the bathroom. So if someone goes into the bathroom and does some vandalism, you can see from the camera, obviously not in the bathroom, but who went in and who went out at which time. So if some student, let's say, wanted to pull some sort of a prank on a classroom, you're on camera, and we can go back with the modern technology up to 2 weeks. So if I find out today that there was an incident in the hallway last Wednesday that occurred at, in the middle of period one, we can trace the whole thing back. So I just, students, we want you to behave properly for all the right reasons. But we want you to know that, there is surveillance going on both outside and inside the school at all times. So if you are here at 6 o'clock at night or 4:30 and you weren't supposed to be here, and we find that out either by looking at the cameras or getting a report from an adult, we're going to be able to track you down, and there's going to be discipline. And we don't want to do that, okay? And the other thing I would ask staff, if you happen to be in the building after hours, whether you're coaching or volunteering in one of those activities, or maybe you're working out, or maybe you're working late with marking or prepping or whatever, if you happen to see some students in the halls, if you don't mind asking them what they're doing and remind them to move along, that would be appreciated. Okay, now 2 really good news items. The first, how about our yearbook? So our yearbook made national news on Global a couple weeks ago. And then this morning, I received a text. One of the first things that happened on my phone this morning was a text. So on the cover of the Hamilton Spectator, and yes, indeed, someday, kids, you'll tell your children that there was actually physical copies of a newspaper when you were younger. But and they're still around. I used to get one of these on my front porch every day, and now I just, have my online subscription. But anyways, on the cover of the Hamilton Spectator today, not on the top half of the full, but at least on the bottom half, is an article on our yearbook. And if you look at it, you'll see Mr. Trabucco, Vanessa, Paige, and Noah. And as you know, the yearbook with the in the model of a computer in landscape mode and all the creativity and genius design that went into that, we really have gotten a lot of publicity for this. So of course, again, we thank Mr. Trabucco, Misty Gregorio, all the students who were part of that. It was on Global National News. Now it's on the cover of the Spectator. Just more positive publicity for the great school here, Cathedral High School. Personally, I had almost nothing to do with it, but trust me, I'm trying to take the credit when I'm out there. Okay, and the last thing is, it is Administrative Assistance Day. I'm going to be politically incorrect and say Happy Secretary's Day. So we want to say Happy Secretary's Day to the great secretarial staff here at Cathedral. I believe we have 8. We better only have 8 because I bought 8 gifts. But anyways, so we want to thank Miss Bellavia and all the ladies who help keep things going. They're very, very hardworking, very, very positive people, and they do so much for me personally, for the vice principals, and tons for all the students and staff, both things you see and things you don't see. So thank you, Miss Bellavia, and thank you all the ladies. Have a great day, and students, be a little extra nice, and maybe even say thank you to the secretary if you crisscross with them today. So with that, thanks everybody. Have a great day, and I'll turn it back to the anchors.
Thanks, sir. Tickets to the Spring Formal, the Gatsby Gala are on sale now. All this week, you can get your $50 ticket from School Cash Online. Tickets are limited, so get yours as soon as possible.
Graduation committee members are reminded of the weekly meeting taking place today at dismissal in room 340. Thank you from Mrs. Simpson. In speaking of meetings, the homework club is canceled today.
Attention all students who are taking co-op next year. This is a reminder to hand in your parent permission forms and resume if you have not done so. Thanks from Ms. Lucier and Mrs. Tambasco.
Tomorrow, there will be a meeting after school for those track and field members attending the Mark Graham Invitational Meet on May 5th. Students who cannot attend the meeting tomorrow must see Mr. McPhee in room 221 this week.
The senior co-ed volleyball team will be practicing from 5 to 6:30 tomorrow. This will be the last practice before the tournament on May 3rd. Thanks from Ms. Lemparski. And lastly, Mr. Stokel's period 2 and 4 classes are canceled today.
And those are all of your announcements for today, Cathedral.
Have a great day, Gales, and thanks for watching.